And so the issues sort of glide into each other, from food security to where the location that used to be the food basket of the nation but looks more like a war front in recent times. And we're talking about another situation that begs the question about the state of security in Benue State. Joining us for this particular conversation is Lawmaker, representing Otukpo Akpa State constituency at the Benue State House of Assembly, Honorable Kennedy Angbo. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Honorable Angbo, good morning, and thank you so much for coming through on this one.
Good morning. My pleasure being on your show this morning.
So let's get straight into it. News coming through from Benue State is quite worrying. The Otobi crisis, we understand it's a violent attack and there have been some casualties recorded. Give us the backstory to this round of attack in Benue State.
Yeah, Otukpo particularly has been in the news since February this year, where 5 people were killed in Okpamaju. And then the last 2 weeks, particularly Otukpo, Asa 2, Asa 3 also have been in the news. And this also has to do with the killings of some of our constituents. Just last night, about 5:30 p.m. to past 7, 8 o'clock, headers invaded Otobi community and shot at people. They came in different companies and attacked from different flanks. Remember that also about 10 days ago, a security guard was shot at the Otobi Dam, where you have the Federal Ministry of Works, Water Resources Dam. So this particular community has witnessed a surge in headers attacking the farmers. And so yesterday was the climax. But before that happened, some particular fellow by the name Ahmed Bashir had threatened on his social Facebook handle that his Akwa enemies should be prepared for war. And so essentially what we have in Benue, what we have in Otukpo going on right now is war. It's annexation, is an attempt to take over the lands of our people, because these people come and graze around, and they also rustle cattle of other Fulani men and Fulani headers in Otukpo. And I've had that report from credible Fulani people who live in Otukpo, who have been doing their businesses, that there are these criminal elements of Fulani headers who come in, rustle their cows, and then create crisis around Otukpo and giving them also bad name. So this is not a question of whether this is a we're suspecting or is a claim. This is facts from even the Fulani who have told us where they're coming from. They're coming from flanks from Nasarawa and the rest of it. So clearly, Benue is at war. The headers are at war with Benue. They are coming to take our lands. They are coming to kill people, drive people from their farmlands, and uproot our crops and feed it to their cattle. That's the dire situation. That's how terrible it is. And the situation in Benue, in Otobi, particularly this one, is very appalling. It's gory. You see pictures of 10-year-olds killed, macheted badly. Adults, aged people killed, women killed. And this happened without the intervention, but just before the intervention of the police and the combined effort of the military police and the local vigilantes. But I can confirm to you this morning that 1 corpse was found, and it brings the total number of those of victims so far to 11. That's how terrible the situation is in Otukpo. And we're calling on the president, we're calling the IG of police to, yes.
No, land on your thought. I thought you were done.
Well, you cut me in, so I had to listen to you.
No, I thought you were done. So land on your thoughts so that I can ask the question.
So what we are doing right now is to draw the attention of the world, the attention of Mr. President, and also the IG of police and all the security agencies to send in personnel to Otukpo, to Zone C, to Benue State, to be able to curb this issue, because I think the issue of insecurity in Benue is being taken for granted. A lot of people are not paying attention to what's happening there. But there is a systemic cleansing, there is an ethnic cleansing of the people of Benue State. There is a deliberate effort to annex and take over the land of the people of Benue. And that should not have a place in democracy. That should not happen in Nigeria. And that completely should not be acceptable.
All right, so the scenario or the narrative seems to be similar to what's playing out on the plateau. And this is the middle belt region of the country, the north central, as it is referred to politically. And I'm wondering what exactly the effort of the state government, because everybody's calling on the federal government. Of course, the federal government has the military, has the police and all of that. But at a sub-national level, what is being done between the state government and maybe the legislature like yourself to see how you can, before help comes, because it looks like help is not that close. And I'm beginning to wonder, like, what are people left to do? The administration of former Governor Tom, they said he used insecurity to mask poor governance. Those are some of the assertions I've heard. But this administration of Hyacinth Alia, the allegation I hear is more of trying to manage the crisis so that it doesn't look like it's really happening as much as it is. I don't know whether that is the situation or thing, but my question is, what is the subnational, the government of Benue State doing to address this headlong, frontally, and protect her people? We've seen the Plateau State governor even coming to apologize to say, look, we failed you when we're supposed to protect you. We will do better. But I don't know whether I've seen much from that, any of that from the Benue State governor.
Well, for me, this is no time for rhetorics. The last time I was here, you asked about the same question, and I told you that, yes, it's enough, we can lash out at the governors, but the truth of the matter is that the governors have their limitations, and that is the stark truth. Now, what we need to begin to do is that, have we tried to do things differently? They call for self-defense, and people taking, the director of DSS the other time told us that it's about time that the human capacity or the workforce of the security personnel is not enough to man Nigeria. And that's the stark reality before us. And so we need to begin to go back to the drawing boards and begin to ask ourselves, what exactly do we need to do? And I have offered my own opinion. My opinion is that communities must be engaged, communities must be equipped, and we must pass a legislation that allows for communities to defend themselves. Anything short of that, we would come back again and we'll talk about what are the subnationals doing, what is the federal government doing. And I can tell you, on the part of the governor, we were talking up until late midnight. As we speak, the deputy governor is in Otobi. We are also on our way shortly after this convention to Otobi as well. The governor has sent in the security agents, and like I mentioned earlier on, they swiftly moved in. Otherwise, the casualty would have increased more than what I just mentioned to you. That's how much the governor can do. But the thing is, when these people are coming, remember they come with a predisposed agenda. So they have already mapped out their plans. They have already given out, told themselves what to do. And because security is not, they are not some kind of scientists or people who you would say they can predict what would happen. They are not in the minds of these people, these marauders. And so what they can only do is to intervene when it does happen. Because the security people cannot be in all the locations at the same time. And like I said, what happened yesterday was that the moment they attacked Otobi, it wasn't from one flank, it was from different angles. And so it became very difficult for the people to even defend themselves. And so the call for self-defense, the call for people to have vigilantes that are fully armed and equipped to defend their land is the only panacea right now. And so we're talking about amending the constitution. One of the things that should be on the front burner in that conversation is how should the people defend themselves? Because if we do not have people who are defending, who can defend themselves, then we would only be recounting losses every now and then. Like you said, the governor of Plateau State came out to say he apologized. He's apologizing because he's not a god. He cannot be everywhere at the same time. And so he would come back again. This attack will still happen in Plateau. It will still happen in Benue. It will still happen in Nasarawa and other parts of Nigeria. So it's not a question of what will the governor do. What are the governors are doing their best. But the personnel that man the society are not enough. And so community-based policing, community-based approach is the best approach for us so far.
Right.
And that's what I would advocate. And if we say we will keep running away from this, I can tell you that we would be here again by the coming weeks, and we'll see talk about maybe not for Benue, but from another state.
Well, Mr. Ambrose, and that's why we're having this conversation. And it's really sad that at this point we've still not been able to really pinpoint who, what group has been responsible or is fueling this. I mean, we're able to say Lakura, for example.
No, we can't pinpoint. Please.
Just a second. Pardon me to land, Mr. Ambo. So we can say in some parts of the north that it's Lakurawa. We can say Beloterji is the leader. But so far, the best terms we have used is militant herders, herdsmen, marauders. The governor of Plateau called them terrorists or sponsored by terrorists who are performing a genocide, land grabbing. So is this some sort of organized, and I say this advisedly, is this some sort of organized network? When you say herders, a lot of people conflate that with Fulani, but you have said that even Fulani are being attacked as well. So what is the specific tag to use for these people such that we're able to identify without conflating or mistaking them for another group, if you get my point?
I do get your point, but we would also not shy away from who we know are currently responsible for that. If there were Igbo headers, we would call them Igbo headers. But right now, you can only ask me to be diplomatic about this, but that is far from it.
No, I'm not asking you to be.
Like
I want you to say it brutally.
Yeah, like I told you, brutally. A Fulani constituent of mine told me this, that Fulani, bad Fulanis, that was her word, bad Fulanis come into our communities and rustle their cows and begin to kill people and give them the Fulanis who reside in Utbo a bad name. And so yes, even the Fulanis have identified them that these are people. I mean, the other day you heard Senator Shehu Sani admonishing some urban elites of the Fulani people that their names have been tagged and they are already being profiled. And that's the kind of conversation we want to see, that some people need to dissociate themselves from it, and then we can now brand them as terrorists. And so once we have that, and I can also mention this to you for free, that after the attack that happened 2 weeks ago, you remember the bus, Benue Link's bus was also, the driver was killed, and some 3 passengers also were killed, and 13 passengers were abducted. When those boys were arrested, in fact, suffice to say that the arrest that happened, we have credible intel that part of the success of that is the fact that those Fulanis who are legitimately doing their businesses provided the intel that these are the people who are causing problems, and mentioned about 5 of those people. And when they arrested them, these are sets of people that had previously been arrested, handed over to the police, and had been bailed. And so we need to criminalize the action and activities of these herders. We need to, because they are criminals, they are terrorists, they are terrorizing our people. And that's what it is. It's nothing short of that.
Indeed,
so
Mr.
if we
Ambo.
give it any other name or any other coloration, we're only playing to the gallery.
So I'm glad you have said that, and the onus is on security to follow up with this. But tell me, is Benue State safe? Because I saw a response from Governor Alia to Mr. Obi saying, well, if you're planning to visit, I can't guarantee your safety. And he said that clearly. And he also said, if you want to visit IDPs, you must get written consent. But in terms of safety, is Benue State safe? Because that statement may be misconstrued.
To the extent of safety, yes, Benue State is safe. Now, the fact that they're killing people in Nigeria, should that now deter, or should we now say Nigeria is not safe? Nigeria is safe. But then there are killings going on even in the most safe and secure place you would want to term, including Abuja here. So to the extent of your question, yes, Benue is safe. But then if you are coming to visit a state, and like Peter B clearly agreed, there's a need for him to have reached out to the governor. And so I can tell you that Benue is safe, but then the context within which that happened is completely different from what we're discussing now. And yes, Benue is safe, and as I speak to you, I'm heading to Benue. As I'm speaking to you, there are people living in Benue. As I'm speaking to you, your people, including your men and crew, live in Benue, and they also can tell you that they are safe. So yes, Benue is safe, but we have targeted attacks going on because those areas provide a safe haven for their cattle. They think that the lush vegetation, the availability of water and farmlands for them to graze their cattle is there. And so what is now the crux of the matter is the fact that when these people come in here, they are contending with the resources that our people use. They are contending with the same farmlands that we're using to farm. They are contending with the same sources of water we use to drink. And so that is the bane of the crisis we have. And until that is addressed, which is i.e., Benue has a law which prohibits open grazing. And that law must be adhered to stricto sensu. What are we doing about that? It is until that we criminalize people who infringe on such laws, this will not stop. Because these headers move about and the law is not catching up with them. And, yes.
Pardon me, we must end this segment now. And this is by no means the end of the conversation, because you have thrown up a lot of debatable issues. Getting the permission before a politician comes to Benue, the efficacy of the subnationals to managing these situations. We certainly must have you return to the program such that we can thrash these issues in a more effective manner. We've been talking with Honorable Kennedy Angbo, member representing Otukpo and Fast State constituency at the Benue State House of Assembly. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you for having me, and good morning.
And there's more to come on the program. This time we'll be looking at your role as a citizen to helping the security situation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.